Picture this. A hedge fund sends you their pitch deck. It says, "Our top 10 funds beat the market for 5 straight years." Impressive, right? But here is what they did not tell you. They ran 40 funds. The other 30 either lost money or were quietly shut down. You just got shown survivorship bias, cherry-picked winners dressed up as a track record. Before GIPS existed, this was standard practice everywhere. That is the exact problem GIPS was created to solve. Enter GIPS. The Global Investment Performance Standards are a voluntary, firm-wide framework that governs how investment management firms calculate and present their performance to prospective clients. 3 words matter here. Voluntary, no regulator forces firms to adopt GIPS. Firm-wide, if you comply for the entire firm, not just your best division. And prospective clients, GIPS is designed to protect the people who have not yet hired you. They cannot verify your numbers. GIPS gives them a standard they can trust. The most powerful mechanism GIPS uses to stop cherry-picking is the composite requirement. A composite is simply a grouping of all portfolios managed with the same strategy. Here is the rule that makes this powerful. Every single fee-paying, discretionary portfolio must be assigned to at least one composite. No exceptions, no opt-outs, no discretion. If you manage 50 accounts using your large-cap growth strategy, and 3 of them are down badly, those 3 must be in your large-cap growth composite. You cannot exclude them. The firm's composite average must include every account, winners and losers alike. That is the anti-cherry-picking mechanism in action. Let's build the complete composite inclusion table, because the exam loves to test the 3-tier structure. Fee-paying and discretionary must be included, no exceptions. Non-fee-paying but discretionary, like the firm's own proprietary capital, may be included if you want, but you must disclose the percentage of composite assets that are non-fee-paying. Non-discretionary, where the client makes the decisions, must be excluded. Including it would distort the composite. This 3-tier structure appears in exam vignettes as a trap. They show you a non-fee-paying account and ask whether it must be included. The answer is no, it may be included, but only with disclosure. Now let us address the second most tested GIPS trap on Level 1, the difference between GIPS compliance and GIPS verification. These are 2 separate, both voluntary decisions. Compliance is the firm's decision to follow the GIPS standards and make the compliance claim. Self-declared, no external party required. Verification is an additional, optional step where an independent third party reviews whether the firm's GIPS policies and procedures are actually sound. Verification is voluntary. It is never required. A firm can be fully GIPS compliant and has been for 20 years without ever having been verified. Verification adds credibility. It does not create compliance. Here is a GIPS rule that generates more wrong answers than almost any other. The compliance claim must be firm-wide, and the exact wording is prescribed. A firm cannot say, "Our equity division complies with GIPS." That is a violation, period. GIPS compliance is an all-or-nothing, firm-wide switch. Either the entire firm complies or the firm does not comply. And the exact compliance statement is, firm name claims compliance with the Global Investment Performance Standards and has prepared and presented this report in compliance with the GIPS standards. 2 more critical points. A firm cannot say, "ABC fund complies with GIPS." Funds do not comply, firms comply. And a firm cannot say they comply except for something. There is no partial compliance exception. Track record portability is the hardest GIPS concept at Level 1, and the Bill Gross situation illustrates it perfectly. When Gross left PIMCO in 2014, the flagship Total Return Fund had over $200 billion in assets. Gross had managed it for 27 years. Under GIPS, could Gross take that track record to Janus? No, and here is why. The portability rule requires 3 conditions to all be met simultaneously. First, the investment decision makers, the manager and key staff, must have moved to the new firm. Second, the accounts that generated the performance must have moved to the new firm. Third, the supporting documentation and records must be available. At PIMCO, the accounts stayed. Condition 2 failed. The track record could not be ported. Gross had to build a new composite at Janus from day 1. GIPS has a specific performance history requirement that the exam tests with a 2-part trap. The initial minimum is 5 years. When a firm first claims GIPS compliance, it must present at minimum 5 years of GIPS-compliant performance. But if the firm or composite has existed for fewer than 5 years, it presents since inception, not 5 years of fabricated data. After establishing the initial 5 years, the firm must build toward 10 years, adding 1 year per year until it reaches 10 years of compliant history. Here is the trap the exam uses. Delta Management has been in business for 8 years. What is the minimum GIPS-compliant history it must present? The answer is 5 years, not 8, not 10. 5 is the floor, always 5 unless inception is shorter. Exam question. Alpha Asset Management states in its marketing materials, Alpha claims compliance with GIPS for its equity portfolios. Is this a valid GIPS compliance claim? A. Yes, because GIPS allows strategy-level compliance. B. No, because compliance must be firm-wide. C. Yes, if equity portfolios represent the majority of AUM. D. No, because verification is required first. Think about the fundamental GIPS rule. What does compliance apply to? Exam question. Under GIPS, which portfolios must be included in at least one composite? A. All fee-paying accounts. B. All discretionary accounts. C. All fee-paying discretionary accounts. D. All accounts including non-discretionary. 2 qualifiers both required. What are they? Exam question, portability. Sarah Chen was lead portfolio manager for a small-cap growth composite at her previous employer for 7 years. She moves to Beta Capital and wants to market that track record. Under GIPS, the prior track record. A. Cannot be used under any circumstances. B. May be used if performance is linked to the new firm's record. C. May be used if documented, same accounts moved, same team with disclosure. D. May be used only after third-party verification. Remember the 3 keys to the vault. Final exam question, verification. Which statement about GIPS verification is most accurate? A. GIPS requires annual third-party verification. B. Verification confirms accuracy of specific composite presentations. C. Verification is voluntary and increases credibility. D. Verification is equivalent to a financial audit. The key word is required, or is it? Here is your complete GIPS reference card. Everything Level 1 tests, ranked by exam frequency. Screenshot this, write it on your notepad, tattoo it somewhere visible on exam day, whatever it takes. Let's close with your GIPS exam strategy. On Level 1, GIPS questions are conceptual, no calculations. Every question is testing one of 8 core ideas. When you see a vignette with a compliance claim, immediately ask, is this firm-wide? If not, it is a violation. When you see verification mentioned, ask, is the question implying it is required? It is never required. When you see a composite with a poor performer excluded, ask, is that account fee-paying and discretionary? If yes, it must be in the composite that exclusion is a violation. And when you see a manager who left a firm, ask, did the accounts move too? If not, no portability. With about 1 to 2 minutes per GIPS question, these 4 mental triggers are all you need.